welcome everyone to this session for AI for Automotive. Let's start with you, Prashant. So you work at Celonis, process digital twin solution, and you're the AI lead for automotive there. So you're very well positioned to maybe give us an overview of how AI is shaking up that industry.
Yes, thank you for having me. I'd be very happy to. So what we are seeing across all of our automotive clients is that the biggest potential of AI to really have a real impact is in transforming the way that work gets done, both individually and collectively. So, in other words, by allowing us to rethink our business processes. Now, this is extremely challenging because it means that your machine learning models and LLMs need to first have an understanding of the context of how your business operates today, derived from millions of processes, terabytes of data, in order to be able to drive a change of this status quo. So to help kind of explain why this is the case, imagine if you would hire a brilliant new PhD, you wouldn't expect this person to immediately start creating value in your business and driving change without them having first been onboarded and embedded into your organization, having been taught about your strategy and your rules, culture, and processes. So, as a result, we can very clearly see that the automotive companies who have invested in understanding and in modeling their complex processes in a digital twin are the ones who have been the most successful at leveraging AI quickly, as well as deriving real business value at scale today already. And lastly, I would just add the largest buckets of value that we see come from addressing the most important parts of an automotive business. So areas like product development and launch, customer care, order to delivery, supply chain.
Oh, very interesting. And can you tell us more about concrete cases on these type of applications?
Sure, yeah. Let me give you a tangible example of this transformational power. Something I personally am very excited about is an engineering use case where clients are leveraging Gen AI capabilities to tackle the long and tedious process of getting cost estimates for new part designs. So typically, this is there's a weeks or even months-long process required for getting new quotes and estimates for a new design that involves multiple stakeholders and suppliers. However, Gen AI models' incredible ability to extract key features from images, like technical drawings, for example, it's a game changer. Because now we can create immediate descriptions of new parts based on their technical drawings, use these descriptions to check against the database of currently existing parts, and come up with a group of similar parts. Then, with procurement data that we've gathered on these similar parts, we can calculate automatic cost estimates as well as recommended suppliers for this new part design. And all of this radically shortens the feedback loop for engineers and promotes a much more efficient and cost-conscious development process. Another great story I'd like to share is how clients are leveraging the reasoning abilities of LLMs to help them with the decision-making process for credit blocks in their order management process. So often, there are hundreds of sales orders being blocked automatically each day due to system-defined credit management policies. However, not all of these blocks make sense because there are other factors to consider outside of the policy, like customer payment behavior or long-term relationships, in order to holistically manage your credit risk. And as a result, we see that it becomes a very highly manual process with credit managers assessing the blocks individually and having to take decisions on whether to keep or remove them. And this is something that can be significantly optimized with AI. So we've seen that if you give LLMs a set of guidelines or rules of thumb about this decision making, as well as historical data on past orders and the relevant attributes, then they are able to take all of the relevant factors into account and come up with their own recommended course of action for each block, as well as fact-based reasoning behind their choices. And all of this together, again, is a very dramatic way in which Gen AI can change this process for the better, providing intelligent decision support for these credit managers for thousands of sales orders within seconds.
Thank you, Prashant, for sharing those transformative use cases. So welcome to you too. Jean-Vianney, so you're AI Transformation Manager at Michelin. Caroline, your Data AI and Digital Transformation Officer at FORVIA. So warm welcome to you too. Could you illustrate the AI transformation you're leading at your companies with some specific use cases you have deployed?
Yes, sure. Thank you, Florence. I have a few use cases to share with you. We mentioned sales, we mentioned engineering, we mentioned support functions. As this is AI for industry today, let's focus on what's happening in the factories, for example. I will tell you first the computer vision use cases that we have, for example. Why computer vision is key to the industry in Michelin and why it's difficult. Why it's key first, let's start. Anybody owning a Bugatti car in the room or driving a sports car such as Le Mans Series? No, okay, so little secret here, your tire is not manufactured, even though the title of the company is Michelin Manufacturer and so on. No, there's a lot of automation in the process, in the manufacturing process, and that's why the frontline worker life has changed in the past. Now he's no longer putting the hands on the material. Now his role is to control this automated process. It's a visual control first, then very quickly, because the machine is long and the automation is progressing, you want to control several parts of the machine at the same time. So you have cameras, and then you have screens. And at the end, thanks to all the automation that we have implemented in our factories, some of the frontline workers ended having 6 screens in front of them to watch continuously to identify if the process was working fine. That's cumbersome. Now with some homemade computer vision, we can identify immediately what is really at stake. So you no longer have to look at different screens and search what is right, what is wrong. Automatically, thanks to the computer vision, what is wrong is popping up on one single screen so that you can immediately interact and get back to the standards. Second question, what is the color of natural rubber? Okay, well, it's light brown, but probably you have in mind that very quickly when you add carbon black inside, it's black. It's really black. Computer vision, black, that does not go very well together, you know. Black tends to absorb light, so it's more difficult to identify anything. Anyway, we tend to have a very high level standard of quality, which makes then the defect data not so numerous. We need to find a way. Let's take an example. You are mixing rubber together with several other items, such as carbon black, and you want to detect if there's any inclusion inside. Inclusion can be something that, like a powder that is not dispersing correctly in the mixer, but it can be also because natural rubber starts by natural. And natural, it means agriculture. It means it's not perfect. You can have a mosquito of 1 gram inside of a batch of 1 ton of rubber. And you need to detect it, because otherwise, there's a security issue with the tire at the end. So how do you detect a mosquito inside 1 ton of natural rubber mixed with plenty of other things when you don't have many defects? While you're doing unclassified, unsupervised computer vision so that you can detect anomaly automatically, even without having trained the system with anomalies, because you don't have that many. And that is working. So then the frontline worker is able to stop the machine immediately and save that 1 ton of batch. Otherwise, all those raw material would have been wasted. Second example, I pass quickly at the end of the product. Probably you see it's round, it's black. It's the tire when it's cured. You have to control that it's perfect, because we are touching perfection every day, but it's difficult because, once again, it's black. So the frontline worker used to manually control visually that it was perfect, no defect that he can see. That is cumbersome all day long during your working day. So what we are doing, once again, computer vision, laser, secret things, but at the end, we're able to segregate automatically the 90+% of tires that are perfect, so that the frontline worker is focusing on anything that is not perfect yet. Versus computer vision, we are dealing also with time series. Probably you realize that in a factory, you have plenty of machines, you have sensors that are measuring continuously temperature, pressure, hygrometry, and so on. The value of that is not with the average measure or the instant measure. The value of that is if you are able to make a correlation between all the fluctuating values that you can measure with the sensors, and at the end, the quality of the products you want to detect. And this correlation, you can find it with some analytics at first, but really it's more important. If you want to reach more value, you need to train a model that is able to identify the correlation between all the entry parameters that you have on your machines, and at the end, what is your target? Your target is to have a perfect product. And that is difficult, and that is very interesting, because there we are touching not only the classical AI that I was describing before, but also part of the Gen AI. Probably you remember this paper from Google at the beginning of the Gen AI, the transformers. This is the pattern that was brought by all you need is attention. This is exactly what we need here. We have time series of various sensors at the entrance, and we want to detect where is the key part in time that is having an effect at the end. So this is what we're doing also with the sensors on the machine. And as we were mentioning LLMs and Gen AI, these have a role also to play in the industry. In our factories, typically, somebody who's in charge of the maintenance of the machines, he can now benefit, thanks to the LLM solutions that we have implemented, to all the knowledge, 15 years of issue remediation in the 80 factories of the plant worldwide. Different languages, different cases, but at the end, when I have an issue in a machine, we now have the solution that is available for the workers. They can describe the symptoms, they have proposal of diagnosis, they have a remediation action plan that is automatically improved because we have human in the loop that is able to say, this was the good remediation action. So if I'm clicking here and giving 3 stars on this action in France, maybe tomorrow, my colleague in Brazil or in Bangkok will benefit from that learning. So these are the use cases I have in mind when we are discussing AI for industry.
Thank you so much, Jean-Vianney. What about you, Caroline, at FORVIA?
We have exactly the same stakes and some similarities, so I will try to not be redundant. So first, in our journey, the collection of the data with the domain of industry, this is maybe the most advanced domain that we have in our organization. So it means that in terms of data availability, but also quality of the data, they are there. And this is, for me, the foundations, the first pillar on which you have to invest. So I will share with you 3 use cases with AI and Gen AI that we are today not fully deployed, let's be humble, but it's not scaled at 100% across the organization, but with some concrete, more than POC, if I may say, more than a proof of concepts. So the first one is more related with predictive maintenance. So we deployed an AI who is able to detect and to prevent any deviation from a natural behavior of the machine, but really to launch an alert to the maintenance operator to really prevent him, to avoid, of course, a cost, to reduce the downtime, because it's really important. We need really to deliver our customers on time, so any breakdown or shutdown on the production line, it's a nightmare. It could be a catastrophe also, a drama. So to avoid, to reach this kind of very critical situations, what we deploy an ontology on which we list all error codes with the explanation of the issues and maybe some root cause analysis. By this way, so the idea is not only to have a pop-up when this is a crisis, but really to prevent, based on historical data and the current parameter in real time collect on the plant, to prevent the issue, and the maintenance team allows to react or also to prioritize all actions according to the criticality of the issue. So this is one of the use cases developed in some of plants. So the techno used to do so is an LLM-based, it's more than a smart chatbot because we did the exercise to list the error and to send this signal to the operator, but we are using a layer of artificial intelligence in our data platform. So it's fully correlated on our data in real time and our famous ontology. The second use case that I would like to share with you today is with the techno of computer vision. One of our main costly domain, if I may say, in production, this is the quality cost. So our objective is really to reduce our quality wall, so quality wall physically on the plant, and of course the cost. So in one of our plants in Spain, we have a project called End of Line, so EOL project. So the idea is really to screen and to put some visual detections with very high camera resolution to really detect all of the qualities for our finished goods. So here we are talking about interiors activities. So this is to screen all of our finished goods related, so it's door panels and instrumental panels, sorry. So with the using of the plastic. So it's sometimes some quality cannot be only detected only by a human visualization, but the machine and the high resolution of the cameras for sure detect the quality. So to put in place this process, we have two really important benefits. Of course, the target to reduce the quality cost, okay, it's achieved, but also to improve the knowledge of the operators. By knowing all of the errors that the cameras detect every day, he will be also, after that, able to prevent also and to put some remediation plan in advance. So he improves himself his knowledge about the process of production. The last use case I would like to share with you is related to how we can measure our energy consumption to reach the target. The first one is, of course, to reduce the invoice of electricity, of waters, okay, obvious, but also to reach our target regarding the commitment of CO2 footprints, for example. So what we did for this one, we used a machine learning techno to modelize, so we modelize, yes, the patterns based on historical data, but also we are able to capture the information from the machine in real time, thanks to the sensor. It was exactly the process described by Jean-Vianney. So we are able to know the level of the consumption of waters, electricity, etc. on real time. So the issue before was we were not able to really know how much energy we saved or we wasted. It was really impossible. Now we have a target, a clear target, fixed beginning of the year, and every day we can predict, we can see and combine with the prediction if we will reach the target or not. So we base our model on historical data, but also on some forecast data as the day off, for example, the vacation dates by plant, so the calendar of by country, by plant. So this is this kind of parameters that we combine on this forecast to really be able to put in place some remediation plan or not, and to see also the added value of the actions that you put in place at the site levels.